I'll start recording.
Thank you for asking.
Yes, yes.
You all got a message now asking if it's okay, and we can formally start. So first of all, thank you, Satish. Thank you, Raquel, and thank you to all of our startups here on behalf of the Go Global initiative, which is this really nice program to help develop startup companies from Brazil and help them gain scale and gain the world. The Go Global program is backed by three of the main universities here in the south of Brazil, namely PUC, URGS, and Unicinos. Also, we have Sebrae and Unicred. And we, on behalf of all these institutions and the program, I thank you for your participation. And Raquel, you can take it away, please.
Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you very much. Actually, my idea is just to introduce Satish and share a little bit about his journey, but I'm sure he's going to tell much better than I will. But actually, I've met Satish around 4 years ago. He's a serial entrepreneur with more than 25 years in tech. He has built 3 companies with successful asset. He sold over $50 million in these 3 companies. Recently, he actually launched School during the pandemic that empowers homeschooling parents with educational and assessment tools that help their students excel in life. So the idea of the Studio is to help the parents that are passing through all these online drama sessions with the family, helping them to empower them and help their children. He's also the founder and from Desi Fest, the North American largest South Asian musical festival that has been more than 15 years in Toronto. Over 500 artists and fundraising and doing sponsorship for the festival. It's an amazing event, very known in Toronto. It's in the multicultural environment from Toronto, and it's the biggest festival actually in North America. He also created Bala Group that gives all the guidance for entrepreneurs, not only from Canada, but international entrepreneurs. That's why he went to Brazil to start guiding entrepreneurs to come to Canada. And he is one of the best specialists in sales and marketing and business strategy that I know, not only in Canada. He's really amazing. You will know him. So that's what I can presume, but that's for you. Thank you very much. The idea today is it's something very informal, but if you can share more about your journey, especially regarding sales and marketing strategy, that would be great, because they are passing now through the stage of traction. And afterwards, if you can, of course, open the opportunity for them to ask questions and also share part of their journey to listen their pitch, that would be great too.
Very cool. Raquel, amazing introduction. Thank you. And you know, it's so I have like 3 cameras set up, so I just want to do a quick check. If I'm looking this way, am I making eye contact with you guys?
Yes.
Yes, because if I look this way, I'm not making eye contact. Perfect, because I don't want to be staring at myself as I'm talking. I'm getting used to this whole Zoom lifestyle. It's crazy. I did a presentation 2 weeks ago to Hyundai, and nobody had their camera on, and it was so weird to like speak to 30 different like little names on a screen. So I'm getting used to this, but I appreciate the opportunity to share. And you know, like Raquel said, I've been a serial entrepreneur my entire life. 50% of the time, not by choice. I just didn't know what job to get, and the jobs I wanted to do, they didn't want to hire me. And And I was like, I don't know what to do, because I went to school for computer science and I thought I had pretty good grade average. And then I graduated and a bunch of people said it's not good enough. And so I feel like the first half of my career as an entrepreneur was because I kind of didn't know what else to do. And then the second half, I really fell in love with the idea of entrepreneurship and building companies and creating impact and solving problems and you know, making money and making like a visible impact. And sometimes a visible impact is not the world. It's amazing staff that started with me and grew over 10 years, or clients that were zero revenue that we made a multi-million-dollar company. And so there's lots of like little moments of success that like really got me excited. And so today I'm very confident saying I'm a serial entrepreneur, because this is all I want to do. I want to create, and I want to fail. I want to learn. I want to be in this ecosystem. You know, I'm 46 this year, and I started my journey when I was 19. So, you know, it's been a pretty long time, and I hope I can keep doing this, unless I move to Spain and then I work for somebody, and then that'll be an exciting first job, to get a job and work in Spain. So when Raquel invited me, you know, to chat, the idea of marketing and sales and scaling, the topic is so vast, right? There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's the perfect dance, the song, the tempo, the partner, the environment. It's the perfect dance. And what we do as salespeople is try to find the right way to get to that perfect tempo, and then stay in that tempo as long as you can until everything changes. Like COVID came and everything changed, or competition shows up, everything changes, customers' needs change, and everything changed. And so it's probably one of the reasons why I love sales so much, because I don't look at it as sales, but finding this tempo, finding this dance, finding this beautiful synchronized me and the customer and the market and the economics and the competition. So I thought, okay, I can either do like a lecture style, here's theoretical 101, or I can sort of use what I've been doing for the last 9 months with Schoolio as an example, because 10 months ago, Schoolio didn't exist. 9 months ago, the idea came into my head. We launched August 1st, and I got some exciting news to share at the end if you stick around. So this is my sales guy tactic, right? Stick around till the end, and there's something exciting for you guys. So if all of that kind of makes sense, whoever's got their camera up, just give me a couple of quick thumbs up, and then if it all makes sense, we'll go. Cool? Okay, perfect. So I wanted to sort of just set the stage up. Thank you, Raquel, for that intro. You guys know about my entrepreneur story already. Being an entrepreneur without other things is very stressful. Like, you can't do the 24/7 grind. You can't be a working engine. So I'm extremely thankful that I've got a music background, and I'm a DJ still. I still have a studio. If I turn my camera slightly this way, you'll see my full home studio. And it's a great balance for me to go, you know, be creative. Other people have different hobbies. I like making music, right? And then this title of investor is really new. You know, Ballot Group that we started 2 years ago, we started with, you know, 2 simple assumptions. People of color, minorities, and new immigrants that come into Canada bring incredible new ideas, but there's no way to support them because A, we don't know who they are. B, they don't have the visibility to bring their ideas to the market, and C, so many of their business plans stop too early because of lack of resources or mentorship or capital. So how can I sort of make that more impactful coming as an immigrant to this country? And my family traveled here, and there's a ton of really cool immigrants that I've met. So my investment philosophy is really looking at individuals that are bringing a fresh perspective to a regular problem. You know, sometimes in established markets like North America and Canada, we take our problems for granted because it's always been there. And then somebody gets off a plane and goes, oh man, I have a different idea for your transportation problem, or I can solve a supply and demand issue in agriculture, or I can create some innovation in healthcare and pharmaceutical. we're not listening to them. And so that's really what Bala Group is about. You know, how can we support people that are new to the country with a fresh idea on a problem that can make the country better? And then if we can find, you know, a 1% success over the next 8 to 10 years, Canada or North America can fundamentally change. And that's the big vision around what Bala Group is trying to do. So to do that, I need to go out and make friends with other markets. So Brazil was an easy win. Latin America is booming. Some of the innovation I've seen, woo, like I love it. So being able to be part of that conversation is really great. I'm doing something similar in Asia. I'm doing something similar in my home country, India. Africa is a growing market for us. And so we're looking for these kind of innovative thinkers that are taking everyday simple problems and creating really useful solutions, right? So that's my investment philosophy. And then what I've been doing for the last year and a half is really working with startups and established companies on revenue. How do you make money? There's a lot of really good ideas in the marketplace, but not enough strategic thinking around making revenue, not profit. Profit's a whole different game plan. You can you know, make $1 million and spend $1 million to stay in business, but how do you make money, right? So that's sort of been the things that I've been working on. So in a nutshell, that's kind of my ecosystem every single day. More than 50% of these 4 things take up my time. And then when this is not it, I got 2 amazing little kids. Well, they're grown up now, a teenager and a 8-year-old, and I spend my time there. And that's sort of what my life looks like. So Schoolio, I'm going to set this up, but I'm not here to pitch Schoolio. I'm only going to explain it so that all the other slides make sense for us. And also, you know, if you got any questions halfway through, please feel free to interrupt and drop something in the chat, because I do want to make it a bit more interactive. So I've loaded up the chat screen over there, which is great. So Schoolio, when the pandemic happened in March, there was 2 big problems in my life. One, I have a teenager and a son going into grade 2, and there's no more school. So how do we teach them stuff? And then number 2, I'm a shitty student. So how can I confidently teach my kids when I am like, I'm not a good teacher, I'm not a good student, what do I teach? And so I went online, looked at Amazon, looked at eBay, looked at all of these small publications to see where can I buy Canadian curriculum that I can use at home to teach my kids. My assumption was somebody must have written it. It's a public school system. Somebody must have created curriculum that I can just buy. Didn't exist. So in my head, I'm like, there's an interesting opportunity here, because why can't I, as a Canadian taxpayer, buy curriculum that my teachers are using in class? And then I said, okay, let me call the teachers. Maybe if you ask them, they'll give it to you. And we just didn't know we can ask them. So I called the school system and I said, hey, teachers, can I have the lesson plan that you're going to teach my kids? They're like, we can't give it to you. It's proprietary. And I said, So then if teachers with lesson plans that are getting paid by taxpayers are not going to give it to parents that are paying the taxes, and I can't buy Canadian curriculum, what are parents doing if they need to help their kids? Whole new market of like tutoring and after school programs is set up that is very, very expensive. So the entrepreneur in me and said, what if I can create a middle ground between tutoring and school? What if I can create curriculum that is affordable, accessible, parents can buy it, we have the same content that the teachers have in class, and now we can teach, whether it's full-time at home, whether it's on holidays, because I'm living in Brazil for the winter and I want to keep my, give my kids some education, whether I'm traveling, whether it's extra support before September school start. I thought there must be a small market. I have nothing to do now. Bala Group is sort of shut down. My festival is shut down. I'm bored. And as we become friends, Satish, being bored is not good for the universe. Like, it's not good. So I was like, okay, let me figure out what I could do. So I started a company called Schoolio, and our early assumptions was, if we can create curriculum that's based on Canadian regulations, will parents buy it? And if they buy it, will they tell a friend about it? If they tell a friend about it, can we create a nice passive income model around selling curriculum? So that's what we did. And we went out to market and I'll tell you what the process and all that stuff that I did. But that's essentially what Schoolio is. We're an alternative education platform supporting anybody that is looking for home education that is tied to Canadian curriculum. And then as we look at the global picture, the same Canadian curriculum, but now we have American curriculum. And then let's say we want to go to Brazil. We'll work with the local departments there and create Brazilian curriculum. And it just sort of repeats and recycles because the formula is not fixed, right? So when I was looking at, how can I walk you guys through some of the thinking, I wanted to sort of share my assumptions, whether it's my own companies or companies that I'm looking to invest in or companies that I'm consulting in. For me, these 5 things are my formula to look at how do we drive revenue, right? The first one is why. And everybody talks about it, the why, the why, the why, the why. For me, it's less about why do you want to start a company? It's more about why is the solution needed? Because we have to make the assumption in today's world that every problem already has a solution. Somewhere in the world, somebody solved the problem that a customer is paying some sort of money for. There's no really big original problems to solve. And if we start with that premise, that every problem already has a solution, then the first question for me when I look at any company or product or sales is, why does this solution matter, right? And then the second step to that is, are we very clear on how this solves the customer's problem? Not the top line, immediate solution, the real problem, right? What are we actually solving? Because to build the business, you need repeat customers. To build repeat customers, the solution has to solve a consistently big enough problem. If not, it's a one-time fix. You don't have a business anymore, right? So that's the second thing I look for. What is the clarity that we can really understand what the customer wants? And then if it aligns to what we're solving, then we have a chance to build a company. Third is the wedge. So I'll walk through the wedge a little bit more, but the wedge is the idea that if every customer and a solution is already together, I don't have another hand, assuming these 2 things together, you need to create a wedge in between them. Because unless a wedge happens, they don't care about you. There's already a solution, right? Customers are very good at either complaining about the horrible or living with what they get. Nobody's gonna go, oh man, this solution is okay. They're gonna only say, I hate this service provider or I love. But most of us settle for mediocre service, right? All of us. So when we live in a world where the customer is happy with the mediocre service, they're never gonna switch. So we have to create the wedge. So what is that? So I look for that. And if we can create the why and the clarity and the wedge, we get the right to ask for their trust. And when we ask for their trust, that is when the financial results happen, right? And then if they trust us, their immediate circle of friends already are customers, because my problem is typically the same problem the people I hang out with also have. So now you got this opportunity to upsell into advocacies. And so the point of making this screenshot for you guys is every business I look at, new, current, established, pivoting, starting, expanding into a new market, expanding into a new territory, expanding into a new country. In my 25 years of experience, these 5 checkpoints apply to all of those situations. Any questions so far? Cool. And again, feel free to drop stuff into the chat. So let me explain how the 5 break down in my case, right? So why does the Schoolio solution matter? So I sat around thinking about it, why? And at the end of the day, there is no solution for parents who cannot afford tutoring and who can't send their kids to school. So the why was very clear. We need another type of curriculum. Cool. Clarity. Whose problem am I solving? So when we first went into this thing, we said, every parent needs Schoolio. If you have a child in school, Schoolio's for you. And then we kept questioning and we realized, no, the parents that are looking to send their kids to public school or private school do not need Schoolio. COVID is a temporary situation for them. But North America, there's close to 10 million families whose kids are outside of the public school system because they're getting bullied, because they have a learning disability, maybe they have autism, maybe the parents are Army parents and they move around a lot, maybe they don't believe in the school system, multiple of reasons, but there's a 10 million customer market segment in just North America with zero solutions. Those parents have to spend hours and hours and hours every summer looking on YouTube, Pinterest, buying books on Amazon, piecing the dots to teach their kids every year. So we said, okay, so if we took this why of there's need to be an organized curriculum, and then we said it's perfect for parents that are choosing to homeschool, we now have a 10 million market. Cool. It's not a unicorn. It's not Amazon. But shit, can it create a $5 million company? Can it create a $10 million company? Why not? So super clear, right? And then the wedge was really clear because all the other people in the market were building technology platforms for supporting schools. Khan Academy, Prodigy, you name it. They're all teaching one subject, math or English, digitally. So we said, okay, we're not going to compete in that noise. We don't have any money. We're bootstrapping. We have curriculum. So let's make books. We literally made ebooks, kindergarten to grade 8. And we said, hey, we are zero screen time. We are pencil only. We are learn anywhere. We are tactile. That's our wedge. So if you want the digital version, you can go to other people. If you want the book version, the freedom to learn anywhere, the freedom to be mobile, the freedom to write and memorize and learn, Schoolio is the only option. Check, 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 right? And I walked through about trust and advocacy, but these 3 bullet points gave me the confidence that, okay, I can put in 15, 20 grand into an MVP and go to market because I know hitting those 3 value propositions will drive revenue for us, 100%, okay? So part of the clarity around sales, and I see a lot of startups make this mistake, is they go and build a solution because they can. They take something to market because they can. It's easy to launch a Facebook campaign, put some money and put some ads and go, right? And then they're trying to learn this blueprint on the job. And I always say, pull it back a little, clarify these points first, and then when you get to market, the sales data actually is useful. You actually know what's going on because you've got a great baseline on why and clarity and wedge, okay? So if you don't have this blueprint figured out, that's the first thing you should do tomorrow morning. Sit and go, hey, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? What's our actual clarity? What's our wedge that's going to create that market noise for us? And when I look at sort of the 3 big steps that I try to get through, and this is either as an interview with a company or when I'm starting my own company, why are you solving this problem is a huge starting point. Most of us don't know how to answer it. You guys should try to do this session tomorrow and be like, why am I solving this problem? If the answer is, oh, it's a cool idea, great. If the answer is, oh, there's a huge lack of educational need, so I'm going to go solve it, great. But can you articulate who is this the biggest pain for? Because the world is so big and with digital, we can reach anybody today. The fastest way to lose all your money is to start advertising without knowing who you're speaking to. And a lot of people don't actually know who their customers. They can't get granular. Like we do persona mapping, and I don't know if you guys have covered persona mapping, but I can tell you, Jane, the 42-year-old mom with 3 kids, 1 kid's got autism, 2 kids are in public school, she makes 52 grand a year, lives in Toronto, drives an old car. Like I have an absolute vision of who Jane is. I know what website she likes to go to. I know what Facebook groups she likes to hang out in. I know what kind of TV shows she likes to watch. So when I create a piece of ad, when I create a blog, when I create a marketing campaign, we know exactly who we're speaking to. And a lot of startups too early in the game skip this persona building visualization process. You can't be in this beautiful dance that I talked about if you can't visualize who you're going to dance with. It's a very important step, and a lot of startups skip it because they go from ideation to solution to I can go sell. And then they're like, oh man, people are not buying my stuff. Or if they buy it, they want a refund. Or they're not telling a friend that we're really good. So our cost of acquisition is always high, right? So understanding who this person is and spending a lot of time and thinking through it is super important. And we decided to launch Schoolio end of March, early April. And it took almost 90 days internally, talking to moms, talking to teachers, talking to education experts, hanging out in Facebook groups. I had 11 fake personalities on Facebook because a lot of groups wouldn't let me in because I'm a guy on Facebook. So I had all these aliases just so I can join mom groups, women groups, family groups to pay attention because they won't let me in, right? But it took almost 90 days and a ton of research to figure out who are we solving the problem for, right? And then the last big step, and most companies I speak to too early can't answer this. How do they transform? Because sales is not about making money. It's about transforming a customer, okay? It's about transforming a customer from a position of pain to a position of relief. And the higher the relief, the more money you can ask for. So the art of selling is always understanding what is the transformation my customer is going to go through from pain to relief using my product. And so you have to be able to answer the question of how do they transform by using your product or service? I don't care if it's a restaurant. I don't care if it's an app. I don't care if it's a laundromat. It doesn't matter. Your point is to take a customer from pain to relief, and that transformation, if it doesn't happen, you don't have a customer, right? So when we looked at it, we said, what's the transformation? What can we do? Well, we know we can't guarantee quality education because we're not teaching the kids, but we can guarantee that we can remove stress. You go from, oh my gosh, what am I going to teach my kid? I need Pinterest, I need YouTube, I need this, I need this. We remove all of that instantly when you buy something from us for $200. It's organized, it's packaged, it's beautiful. It might be horrible, but we've transformed you from stress and anxiety to calm. And that transformation is worth $215 to your account. Would you pay it tomorrow? Right? So understanding the transformation. Understanding the transformation is really important. And everything I'm sharing with you doesn't have the marketing language. We haven't talked about marketing, ads. We haven't talked about pixels, retargeting, sales. I'm not talking any of that yet. Because this particular process, unless you hone it down, all the other efforts of like the engine of selling doesn't help you. And the engine of selling is not smart. It's pretty easy, actually. It's about giving money to some media folks who will run some advertising, and then they'll spit back a result, either conversion or no conversion. But that engine, you don't have to be smart about. What you have to be smart about is the things we're talking about, right? So if you did the clarity work on this blueprint, and then once you do this, answer these 3 questions with full clarity, you're now set up to do the sales test. And I do not get to the sales test ever in anything I do until this step, because I'm very clear on why am I doing this, who's the actual customer, and how am I going to transform them. And then I'm able to now go and do some sales testing. Facebook is still the king. It's got the most affordable B2B and B2C market that you can tap into to immediately validate your business. Email is the best. Anytime you can have an email relationship with the customer, the conversion rate is obviously going to be much, much, much higher. So, and there's a whole bunch of like other tactics that we can talk about. But essentially, all I'm looking for in this middle area, guys, is answer to 4 more questions. Well, 1, What is the market price based on what I think I'm doing for them? So when we started with Schoolio, our bundles, full grades, was $360. We had some sales, but it wasn't as big. Then we started to do testing, A/B testing, 20% off, 30% off, 50% off. And we wanted to see where the biggest price point would be. And at about $200, we were selling close to $1,000 a day. We're like, huh, okay. And remember, none of these people have access to the content until they buy it, which means there's no way for them to measure the quality of the work. They're buying it because we said we're going to remove stress, anxiety, and planning. That's all they like know from looking at our website. They don't actually have the books to say, oh, this is good, I'm gonna buy it. So you have to trust that I'm gonna transform your pain, give me some money, and then hope I deliver. Right? And we also have a 0 refund policy. So it's not like you can come back and go, I checked it out, Satish, can I get my money back? No, you've already got my book. I can't give you the money back. So really understanding the market price was important. So the first 30 days in August, we were A/B testing, August 2020, all sorts of different pricing models. And that's how we were able to land on today's pricing of $200 per bundle, $70 per grade, $14 per unit. And it wasn't accidental. The market told us based on our A/B testing in sales, what are they willing to pay for the transformation that we're offering them? Second was social credibility. We wanted to see how many people that purchased our product with no incentive naturally wanted to tell everybody that I am a Schoolio family. And that was like probably the most nerve-wracking process for me, because once somebody buys it, it's a black hole. You're like, I don't know. Do they like it? Do they hate it? Are they telling their friends how shitty we are? Are they commenting on some Facebook group that I bought Schoolio and it's horrible? I don't know what's happening. There's no way to like see the reaction. And then we started to see these small bubbles where people would be like, hey, I'm using Schoolio, it's really cool, or customer service was amazing, or the product showed up and I loved it. And we started to see some social credibility. Check, okay, we kind of know what we're doing, right? Third is purchase frequency. So when we gave them the bundle at 200 and some smaller units at 14, 15, 18, strategically that was to allow you to buy something cheap, check us out and buy again, hopefully. So a lot of the first customers who bought something for $15, $20, $30 came back and bought the bigger stuff. So I'm like, okay, so now the quality is speaking for itself because the customer is buying more than once. So third check mark. And then the last one is we had about 120 customers in about 30 days. And then we sent them all an email saying, hey, would you like writing a review for us publicly? Like the holy grail moment, right? How many of us have downloaded apps where the app is like, enjoying it? Leave a review. Who writes it? None of us do. We might give it a 5-star, but we don't take our time to now go write a review on the App Store. Same thing with Amazon. How many of us have shopped on Amazon? I spent way too much money on Amazon during the pandemic. I never left a review. So I was like, man, will people leave us a review? And they did. I'm like, okay, any customer is going to take the time to go leave a review on a page means we're doing something right. Okay. So my point is, all of these are customer validations that need to happen before you start really ramping up on sales, right? Because now we have enough data, right? We know what we're doing, we know why we're doing it, and we have some data from sales to back up our belief system. And then we go and adjust. So we went and adjusted our price. We built out new tools for social credibility, so it's easy to do it. We looked at different incentives to get them to buy us more often. And then we said, now we can go and sell. Amazing, because we know what we're doing. One of the things that I think is super important, especially in early stage companies, especially in tech, I guess it's in general, we try to oversell the customer on everything we're good at, right? Everything. And I look at it kind of like, my wife and I have been together for over 20 years. So I'm dating myself back when we were dating. If I went up to her and be like, hey, I'm Satish and I'm good at these 10 things. I'm a good person. I like to read. I like to walk. I like dinners. I like to cook. She would be like, what the hell's going on? Right? And none of us would do that in a relationship. Yet for some reason in sales, when we're selling products or services, We want to squeeze as much information as we can into everything. I do A, B, C, D, E, F. And the customer is going, wait a second, man. What are you trying to tell me? You do everything. I don't know what I need from you. And then 9 out of 10 times when startups don't generate revenue, it's not that the customers or the competition is beating them. The customer just doesn't know what to do about you. So they just freeze, because when they don't know what to buy, or what they're buying from you, their number one option is just not to do anything. So I always say, get really clear on the one thing, maybe two, but no more than 3. Like 3 is like the top magic number. So when I tell for Schoolio, we're accessible, we're affordable, we're effective, that's my 3. I don't see any more, right? So try to get to your message. We're super clear. I know there's another 50 things I can do for you. I can do assessments. I can do gap analysis. I can teach your kid how to learn anything. I can train the parents on better parent-student relationship. I can get them prepped for university. I could do 1,000 things, but that's all later. I want your money and I want your trust and you got a credibility. Just like I wanted my wife to go on a date with me. So I need to tell you 2 things, maybe 3, that'll convince you to give me a chance. And that's the idea around this wedge, right? Your customer and your competition are already together. For me to come in and put a wedge between them and create enough separation where they're going to come in, like give you some love, you need to focus on 1 or 2 things. And on the left of this screen, I've sort of just brain dumped a few things I'll look for as an advantage. Maybe it's your cost structure, like for us, right? We're able to be flexible in our pricing so we can beat competition. Maybe it's your product offering. We decided to do ebooks. We said no screen time, even though we're a tech company. And the next version we're releasing in September is a full digital platform, and we'll slowly move away from printed books. We built the company on printed books because that was our competitive advantage going into market. Maybe it's a distribution network that you've put together for your product and service that's global, that customers want. And that's your unique value proposition. Maybe it's a customer service. Our customer service is amazing. Amazing. Parents love it because I know that the mom who's going to buy our product has time when the kids are gone to bed. And it wasn't a guess. 80% of my sales happen between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And so we had to make sure we have a customer service game plan to service that timeline, because they don't have time between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. They're busy being moms and bosses and parents. So we have to build a different customer service plan that offered that support. And so really listing out what is the 1 or 2 things that can create your wedge is really important. There's a quick question. Satish, about your pricing calibration, you mentioned starting at 360 and then using discount. How are we able to separate the price accurateness from the discount urge effect? Really good question. How do I explain it? I think in the beginning, because there was no other competitor in my space, we were the only option, because it wasn't like if you don't want the Schoolio curriculum, there's another curriculum you can buy. So we had a bit of the window of we're the only ones with Canadian curriculum, provincially approved in a book format. So we can eliminate like the competitive side of things. And then the A/B testing was, we had a gut feeling of the market value. Like I have moms on our group, we have teachers on our group. We kind of know that our gut instinct for this product is somewhere between 150 and 225, right? But then we started high to see, is there a period of time where we can get away with a higher margin to feed the engine? Because at some point it'll automatically course correct. Also, when we looked at the marketplace, digital platforms with no ebook were at $500 to $600 a year for just one subject, like math, for example, right? So there was enough data, but a company like Schoolio never existed before. So we didn't have a lot of framework on what competitors are charging. And so we sort of just said, we'll use the discount model under the guise of sale to see which sales created the most amount of reaction. And then let's baseline that for a while to see if we get more customers. And then when we sort of kept it at that $200 range, we seem to get the most amount of revenue. And then we sort of fixed it at that point. So there's no science. It's a bit of a dance. And also, you know, you're totally right. We also didn't want to do it too long where it becomes a discount mindset. So all of this structuring was all happening the first 90 days. And then after that, that's the price we stuck with until now. I hope that makes sense, Rod. Cool. So let me continue. I know time is tight. How are we on time, guys? It's at 4:46.
You can, I think we can have more 15 minutes, Satish, and then open for questions. And maybe if one company wants to ask specifically about your business. What do you think, Marcelo? Is that a good timing?
Perfect. Perfect, Raquel.
Perfect. Okay. This is just a little example of pick one value. I love this ad because it's for Nescafe, and they do one thing. They tell you that they are really good at waking you up. That's it. If you want coffee, Nescafe is the best. And it's a very simple way to articulate the one value. And so really focus on it. Know that you've got a ton of things you can do in your business, but to set this up, you need to go to market with one or two things. And this is especially important when you're globally expanding, right? Now it's not just your home base. You're not entering a new market. Your competitor and your customer are a different beast. And so you really have to understand what is the wedge in a new market. And especially in new markets, you got to go with the one hit. Your local markets, maybe you can get away with 2 to 3 value proposition. But if I'm moving into Brazil with Schoolio or India, I'm trying to find the one most valuable transformation that I can create. And then that is my all-in message until the market reacts, okay? So channel strategies, we'll briefly run into it. I tell everybody who's like hiring digital marketers and trying to figure out like all this channel strategy stuff, it's super simple now. Like I think it was very confusing 5 years ago, 3 years ago, but today with very little organic traffic, everything is paid media. I started my agency Blue Band where organic was still about 15, 20% of the market. So we needed to get paid a lot of money to create strategies around organic reach. But once that got to 2%, in some cases even 1%, if everything is a paid strategy, then you got to start with the platforms. And then the decision to go B2B or B2C is really simplified, right? You know, Facebook for me is a B2B and B2C platform. YouTube is a B2B and B2C platform. Google is very expensive. LinkedIn is completely untapped. I've been A/B testing a bunch of tools on LinkedIn automation, and it's been really interesting how much of a human you can mimic through automation to scale your LinkedIn presence and business. And so if anybody wants that offline, get in touch with me. I can show you the tools I use and I can just give you my blueprint, like happy to share it. And then there's also these C-level, B-level outliers, right? Reddit is still untapped. We had a lot of great success with Reddit in the early days. Quora, another great platform. And I look for these, and Bing, you know, we all focus on Google so much, but there's a whole population of people that are on Bing, and that cost per click and cost per acquisition is ridiculously cheap, right? So again, if you're looking to get a sales funnel happening, mix and match. Maybe, you know, you're gonna get a couple of hundred customers a month from Bing at a low cost versus Google, where they might send you thousands of customers at a much higher cost. So mixing and match, it's really important. She's putting on a mask of this. Oh, okay. Cool. Put on a mask, Raquel. This is Zoom. It's the new variant is transferable through Zoom. Okay. So you gotta put your mask on. So this is the experimentation. So we spent most of August, September, October, November, even up to December, almost 5 months testing all these channels. And the best part about this channel strategy is we're not spending thousands of dollars, right? I'm spending 20, 30, 40, $100 a day. And my average spend in Schoolio per month in 2020 was only 5 grand. It's now where it's 10, 15 grand a month, but we've scaled the number for results. But in the beginning, I'm spending, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to A/B test with different ads, different copy. And this is where this exercise is really important. when you know this information really well, your A/B testing is very tight because you know the kind of, like I can picture Jane, my mom. So when I go looking for visuals of her in stock photography, I know exactly the picture I'm looking for, right? If I'm looking for copy, if I'm looking for sale, I know what I'm saying. I know how the visuals are supposed to look because we did all the hard work up front to really understand who the customer is. So the other thing that we also did, and we're doing it now in the US market for Schoolio, is launching with partners. Our margins are low, but they've already got the base. So we're launching in the UK with a partner where they're keeping almost 40% of my revenue, but that's okay because my first step is to just grow my customer base, because I know once I get them for 215, there's another 9 things I can sell that'll make up my 50% gap. So I'm willing to give 50% of my income to an affiliate in the UK, in India, in Asia, to drive the business for me, right? It's not a right strategy for every business. Depends on your margins, depends on your product and things like that. But I find anytime I can use a partner to launch in a new market, it gives me instant credibility through somebody else. And then we start to build a base. So there's a lot of different things we can, sort of talk through the channel strategy. If anybody's got a specific question, I'm happy to help. And also, you can always reach out to me after on LinkedIn or whatever and ask me your specific channels. And I played with pretty much every channel you can think of. Influencers, TikTok, IG, promotions, giveaways, affiliates, you name it, I've made a mistake in it. So I've got enough scars to be able to show you, teach you what I know, okay? In general, the simple formula I follow with paid media is, what is the highest quality traffic I can buy? And then when this traffic is coming to me, what is the one action I need them to take? And once they take the action, I now have you. I've cookied you, I've pixeled you. I know what you're doing online. That's the biggest thing we want. Quality traffic that takes an action. And then you pixel them. Once you pixel them, the magic happens, the retargeting happens. This is where, if you're like me, you go search anything on Amazon, those ads bombard you for the next 10 days. And if you don't believe me, go look for plumbing equipment in Amazon and you'll see plumber ads for the next 10 days, okay? I do this proactively. Like if I know I'm gonna travel to Brazil in 2 months, I start looking for Brazil vacation spots. I start looking for flight deals. I start looking for products, and I'm teaching the algorithm that I want you to target me, right? So there's a way to use it. So really understanding the basics, simple for sales online, for digital, highest quality traffic. What does that look like? And what do you want them to do? They have to do something. They have to visit a landing page. They have to click and sign up to a mailing list. They have to buy a product. Sometimes for us, we don't even have, we don't even need you to buy the product. I just need you to add it to the cart. The minute you add it to the cart, I've got you. I know what you looked at. I know what you were thinking you were gonna buy. Just with the products in the shopping cart, I know what province you're in, how old is your child, what grade they're in. You don't even have to buy. Now I can retarget you. I can retarget you. I can convert. Where most companies fail in the beginning is they buy traffic. They don't create a call to action. Retargeting doesn't work. Conversion doesn't happen. The likelihood of a customer buying you the first time they see you is almost zero. So the real conversion, the real sales, the real magic happens on retargeting. So if you know those 3 processes, this applies to every company you can think of. B2B, B2C, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, doesn't matter. Highest quality traffic, create an action that they will do. Retarget, retarget, retarget. By the 3rd retargeting, guaranteed conversion. That's what's worked for us. Barbara says, Satish, what stage of your prototype development did you start to test different channels? Good question. So we are unique in the sense we have kindergarten to grade 8. So instead of waiting for all the grades to be finished, as soon as grade 1 and grade 4 was 50% done, we started our A/B testing. And the first batch of customers, we said, awesome, you're ready to buy. I need 1 more week. And then we put them in a queue. And then we did it again. And then at the end of the first 2 prototypes, we started blasting grade 1 and grade 4. And then based on the feedback and the sales cycle and the price point, we were able to build out the rest. And then we fully went to market in August. But I started prototyping as soon as we had 2 grades ready to go. And that's the beauty, right? Customers that believe in your product, they're okay to wait a little bit. They just need to know how long. So the first batch of customers are like, oh, I'm ready to buy grade 1. We're like, awesome. We're just doing final edits. This is actual copy from our customer service people. We're doing final edits to make sure everything is perfect for you. We need a couple weeks. We haven't even started writing it, but we know it'll take us 2 weeks to write a grade. Awesome. Fill up the pipeline. As soon as we got 8 to 10 orders, we knew we can start building out the pipeline, and we started working on it, right? But that's having a real good understanding of what is your cycle for product prototype development. Mine was about 2 to 3 weeks per grade. Awesome. Let's go. So I hope that helped, Barbara. Feel free to add more questions if you want. So this is the simplest formula. If you're hiring digital marketers, if you're outsourcing this stuff, always ask this question. Give me your traffic formula. And the best companies that I've worked with, they will give you this formula back. We need $10,000, Satish, to buy the best traffic. We're going to create these engagement opportunities for them to do something. And then we're going to spend another 5,000 retargeting and converting. This should make you 30 grand. And if they're not that clear, you're hiring the wrong people. And unfortunately, the digital marketing world is the one industry where there's no rules, there's no regulations. Everybody's a digital marketer on paper, and everybody's got a client or two. So be very careful if you're outsourcing this stuff to qualify that they know this simple formula. And then you can hold people accountable based on this formula, okay? Because I've wasted a lot of money. Now I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna go learn this stuff on my own, figure out how to make my own mistakes. And then the next person I give money to, I'm a lot more confident that I know what they're doing, okay? Which leads me to my last few points. I had to unlearn a ton of things and relearn stuff. Prior to starting Schoolio, all of these things we have listed here, I didn't really give a shit. Like, we had teams working on it. I'm more of a strategy, business development, sales, investor guy. I didn't have to care about traffic building, SEO, and all these things. But to build this B2C business, at my age, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go learn all these things because I'm gonna ask people to help me do these things. I have to go learn. So the simple message is, if you're running your own business, if anything on here you don't know or can't talk about or is scary, go study it. Sign up for Skillshare, go to Udemy, go to YouTube. These are the basics and foundations of what future sales is gonna look like. And everything you do will have one of these things impacting sales. So you don't need to be an expert at it, but you kind of need to know this is a new building block for making money. And the more you know, the better it is for you. I hate when people work to get good ideas. I want 1,000 bad ideas. Seth Godin said it really well. The best ideas come at the end of a bunch of bad ideas. So start working on ideas that doesn't feel right. Quora, would I advertise on Quora? I don't know about Reddit. Like, Reddit feels like this really weird hacker company. Would I advertise in video games? I don't, all good, bad ideas, right? Because the market is so saturated with so many opportunities that you gotta use your imagination on where you're gonna find that customer. You know, we're looking at advertising in Minecraft. We're building a virtual school in Fortnite. We are looking at how can we hack Reddit? How can we hack, you know, email marketing like nobody else has done before? How do we use video to tag you and then convert you? Like, none of this stuff makes sense when you first speak about it. But unless you are confident in just throwing out some bad ideas, the revenue potentials are going to be very slim for you, because the things you know, everybody else knows, and everybody else is doing the same thing. So you kind of have to find the courage to daydream and sort of look this way, okay? And that's why, like, when I told people I'm starting Schoolio and our product is a publishing book, including my wife laughed at my face. What do you mean? You're the digital guy. You built and sold 3 different digital companies, sold over $50 million in digital products, and you're launching a company that sells books, like PDFs. I'm like, yep, that's as sophisticated as we're gonna get to build this MVP, and then we're scale. Okay, so be brave, come up with some really bad ideas. And then from a sales perspective, I'm always looking at what can I automate today. That's why I said about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great tool, but it's very painful to reach out to one person at a time, make connections, So I found a really cool solution called Walter that automates the whole thing. It's beautiful, and we've seen results already from automating these kind of things. So as soon as you can go from, I know what I'm doing, I did some testing, I got some market proof, think about how do I scale this, right? What engines can I put into place? Very last, my personal belief, successes are revised mistakes. So I like to make a lot of mistakes, and eventually some of them will turn into success. And then here I am 26 years later, celebrating my mistakes as successes. So that's my sales philosophy. I know there's a lot of stuff to cover in there. I'm gonna close off with Schoolio. We started with we kind of had a game plan. Today, Schoolio is uniquely positioned, in our opinion, to aid millions of students who are left out of the public school system. And we think we can grow a global education toward a renaissance. Our vision is to create the Fortnite of education, a fully immersive educational experience where kids actually get excited about school. By the age of 8, most kids hate school. So we want to change that, right? So our vision and our mission has expanded through the process of selling an MVP, okay? So it's not just about money, it's about growing the idea beyond what you started with. And finally, these are real numbers. As of May, we did over 100 grand in 8 months using everything I showed you. Everything I just talked about is exactly what I did for Schoolio, that literally started as a dream last March, April. And we went to market August 1st. We're 1 month away from our first year, and we're averaging 8 to 10K a month. We made 6 figures in our first 9 months. I'm not showing this to brag. This is by no means amazing numbers. This is the proof that everything we chatted about actually works. And so you can apply it tomorrow and start to see similar results if you don't have a blueprint, okay? The reviews I talked about, I love seeing these things because now we actually are transforming, and then it fuels you to get up and do it again every single day. And finally, you guys are the first one to know, but we just closed our first seed round. So now we have an investor, and we're scaling, and we're doing some really big stuff. So everything I'm sharing with you guys is not just theoretical, keynote crap, which I sometimes hear, and I go, this is all tactical stuff. When we hang up, I'm doing the same stuff that I just told you tomorrow morning with my team. So that's my time. Thank you.
Wow, Satish, thank you so much. I knew you were gonna go and do a big show for us. Thank you. I believe Marcelo has a question, and also Chris. You can start, Chris.
If you guys are not shy, turn on your cameras so I can see everybody too.
Chris, are you with your hands up?
Oh, I see Luis.
Hi, Mr. Bala.
Hello.
Thanks so much for the lecture. There is so many things to sleep on, hard things to think. And actually, I would have a lot of questions because I'm working in EdTech too. I came to know Schoolio when I was researching, not for competitors, but I was researching what people are doing globally, worldwide. I am in Brazil, as most of us are, and I would like to ask you if it was possible if we can have a little conversation, because I have a lot of ideas that have some synergy with your enterprise, and I would love if it was
100%.
a possible
Yeah.
thing to do, because I download some material from Schoolio to know what these guys were doing, and I was thinking, whoa, that's cool. And now you are here.
Listen, this is meant to happen.
The guy is here in Go.GlobalX, and that's amazing, very amazing.
Yeah, get in touch. Raquel's got my phone number and email and everything. And look, Brazil is a huge part of what we want to do. And Raquel and I already chatted about, understanding, because for me, because there is a global market of people with children who don't fit the public school model, right? They have to have same accessible opportunities for their child. And the parent needs to be educated on how to become a teacher, right? And for me, I think now that I've seen the problem, I can't ignore it, because I didn't know about this other world until COVID happened. And then I thought it was a small problem. And then I'm like, wait, 10 million families with kids are cut out from the ecosystem. And at some point, those kids and my kids from public school and kids from private school are all going to be building the future together. So it's in our best interest to give those kids a amazing of a platform as possible, so they don't feel like they have one step behind, right? And so I'm super pumped in our vision and what we're trying to do, and I'm happy to tell you everything I know, and then you figure out like what we could do together.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Satish, I have a question that I think everybody wants to know more about it. You also have been guiding other companies and also as an investor. So my question is, regarding sales and business strategy and marketing, when you are looking for a startup, an international startup that wants to come to Canada or that are looking for guidance, what is for you the things that are really important regarding the things you told us today, but what would you target more when they do the first pitch?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And, I think it's a two-part answer for me. One, I look to see if the problem that the customer or the problem that the startup is solving, is it a real problem? Okay, because so many of us try to solve the symptom of a problem and not the real problem, right? And so I try to look, and when I'm looking at it from an investor, if you don't need investment, you're doing this as a side hustle, you don't need any help, go. You don't have to justify to anybody, right? You can do whatever you want. But if you're looking to raise money, if you're trying to build a company, if you're trying to bring on advisors, etc., I try to look for, are they solving a problem or are they solving a symptom of a problem? And if they're solving the actual problem, awesome. Why do they care about that problem, right? And the reason the two are important is business is hard. It's the hardest thing you can do, because it's about you being vulnerable and admitting to your flaws and becoming good at things that you never thought you need to become. So owning a business or running a business or hiring people is probably one of the hardest things you can do in life. And so if the problem and you are not connected, there's so many points of failure, right? Now, there's other investors that look for scalable businesses where they can replace the CEO and sort of do. I'm not that guy. I like to look at what's the 1% that could change the world, right? And it's the same way, like, look, when I tell people about Schoolio, I spent 14 years of my life in Singapore, and it was the worst time of my life. My dad is an engineer. We moved to Singapore for a better life. I'm the first son, and I'm dumb in school. I don't know how to fix it. I'm just not good in school. And so when you start getting C's and D's at a very early age, that created a horrible childhood for me. Like, my parents never talked to me. There was a lot of abuse and all this stuff because of a report card. Like, 3 report cards ruined my first 15 years of my life. So when I look today and I go, oh man, with Schoolio, not only can we impact education, but I could help kids that are feeling the way I used to because of a report card that doesn't have the same value, I'm in. Let's go. This is like the next big problem I want to solve. And so, and this is one of the reasons why in less than 12 months with, you know, without a technical platform, we just closed our first seed round at a 2 million valuation. Like literally the paperwork got signed as I was coming on Zoom today. So all of this means that, you know, from an investment philosophy, you try to find people that understand the difference between the problem and the symptom, and the problem has value for them, so that they're going to put in the 5, 6, 10 years it requires to build business of impact.
Would you say that you also look not only the business, but also the bride in the eyes, who are the entrepreneurs that are behind the company? I mean, sometimes he doesn't have all the solution, but if he's a great entrepreneur, would you say that as an investor, the team is
100%. Yeah, listen, 99% of the time you have to bet on the human, right? Because you can't control any of the other situations. Like, you know, look at what COVID did. You know, it changed everything around people, but what matters is who's in the middle making the decisions now, right? And I say the same thing about school. I was written off as a student and somebody of value, not because of me, but because of a report card that says Satish is not good at math and English, right? So I look at, you know, who's the person. And this is where, you know, when you look at investments, it's always a tricky formula, because, you know, I can invest in you, Raquel, today, and this business bombs, it dies. But I know the next business you start, Raquel, I want to invest again, because I know Raquel's going to get a home run at some point, right? So when you look at like investments and you really dive into people that make the investors give them money, there typically has been other relationships around credibility, right? Even the investor that I got, 50% of it is the idea, but the other 50% is they've seen me build and fail over the last 10 years. And the one thing I don't do is stop. So bet on Satish, bet on Schoolio, let's go, right? So I think there's no right or wrong answer. And also, you know, if not a lot of businesses need investments either. Sometimes you need advisors that are going to open doors for you more than give you the money, because you still have to figure out what to do. So there's many different ways to create that relationship, but it comes down to the founder being very clear on what am I solving and why do I want to solve it? You know,
Great.
and a lot of, yeah.
Sorry, Satish.
No, that's it. That's all I got to say.
No, and my other question is, okay, the entrepreneur is amazing. He has a purpose. He has the answer about why, but now he's going to scale to another market. The market that he doesn't know anything about it. And sometimes he has to change the business. He has to find a different strategy because the cultural environment is different. What would you say, and how would you advise the companies that are here today, if they want to scale abroad, how they can start doing all over again, but reducing their learning curve?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think the first thing we want to do is get rid of some buzzwords. Okay, get rid of the word scale. Let's get rid of the word market, because those don't have feelings. It's hard to imagine what scale looks like and what market looks like, right? But what you do know is what is your transformation to the customer? Because if you are servicing, I'm just making it up. If I am servicing parents in Toronto for Schoolio, I know the transformation I'm taking that mom from before me to after me, okay? So if I understand that transformation, then when I'm looking at Sao Paulo, for example, I need to now do the same exercise. Who's the mom in Sao Paulo? What's her kids like? What is her pain? And does my today transformation service help her? If it does, I don't have any fear. Now it's just a matter of telling her I am here. Facebook ads, affiliates, press release, whatever, right? But if her problem is a little different, then I have to make sure I understand her transformation. I got to do the same work I did in Toronto. I got to interview some parents. I got to talk to some teachers. I have to document what her transformation is going to look like, right? It's when people tell me like, you know, we're going to be $1 million company. You can't imagine $1 million, but you can imagine what your first sale looks like. You can imagine what your first 100 customers look like. So for me, it's always about, do I understand in the market I'm going to, can the transformation my product or service offers repeatable? If it's not repeatable, what do I have to tweak so that it delivers a transformation? And then how big of the problem is it? Is there just small markets? Like, you know, using Brazil as an example, homeschooling is not a thing in Brazil, right? It's not. So I can scream at the top of the mountain, Schoolios in Brazil. We want to be supporting every homeschooling mom and dad. They don't care because that's not the transformation they're looking for, right? But maybe working with Chris, we're going to go, oh, the transformation, Chris, your education company is doing, we can help do that. And now there's a thing that we can do to build the market, right? So I think, you know, remember, scaling doesn't happen until traction. Traction doesn't happen until you can transform a customer. So in every new market, start with what am I transferring? A to B, does it work? And if it does, is there enough for them? And if there's enough for them, is there enough for them for me to make a business out of it? Right? But the starting point is always back to the human. What am I transforming? What pain am I eliminating? What behavior can I change? And that's the assessment that you got to do. It doesn't matter what market you're going to.
Amazing. Thank you, Satish. Who else would like to ask any question or maybe share about the business and your strategy?
So I think Melo asked the question.
Great.
Hey, Melo. So
great.
yes,
yes, please, Elena. I didn't see.
I'm constantly looking for new ideas to invest in and help take to market. The last 2 companies I invested in, one was a cybersecurity company, helping big, large businesses not get hacked. And we did about 1.5 years of that until all the buildings closed down. So COVID kind of paused us. We're hoping we can revitalize that. The second business that I invested in is a music payment app. And that's in market now. We're just starting to see traction. And all of them are like my perfect portfolio. Big, scary problem, passionate founder, repeatable, like big enough scale. So, and one of them was a cash investment. The other one was an equity investment for opening doors and helping. They didn't need a lot of money. They just didn't know how to get into the market, right? So there's 2 different types of deals. But I would love to learn more about like what you're trying to do.
Elena, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Satish, for the presentation. It was awesome. Well, we have a startup that transforms industrial waste into fertilizers. So we have like a B2B branch in our business because we need to talk about the industries that are generating these wastes. Now with Raquel, we are participating at the Artemis project and we have a lot of contact with these enterprises. But can I reach them online, like on Facebook or LinkedIn? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's a great way. The challenge in your world is going to be when you get to them, how are you going to present, right? Because an email introduction with the text, hello, I'm Elena, I'm trying to save the world, doesn't resonate as well. So you got to think about a creative way to get their attention, right? And then you can move them into a funnel. But I think to reach them is definitely a LinkedIn play. And also in your world, because of the impact of your solution, the transformation that from a climate perspective, you can do resource perspective. This is also a beautiful PR play, right? Where you can now go, I'm gonna put a spotlight on me to attract conversations. And then I'm also gonna push it out. And then the beautiful blend is if you can get some spotlight on you, and let's say I'm a target customer, my LinkedIn message from you is, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's how we're gonna change the world. Here's a little video on how we do. By the way, check out our profile that just got covered in Global Mail, right? So it takes a little bit longer because you got to perfect the dance a little bit more than a B2C, but absolutely, it's totally doable. And it's topic of mind now. We're all paying attention to the earth. Again,
Okay.
thank God.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who else would you like to ask a question? Francisca, I know you have an amazing company. Would you like to ask a question to Satish? I don't know if you are there.
Hi.
Hi. Actually, I wasn't prepared to speak in English in this afternoon, so I'm sorry.
You're doing great so far.
Okay, so I'm going to stop now. Okay, no, just kidding. At first, I would like to say that I just love to hear you, and your lecture was just amazing. And we have a business that is trying to change the experiences about nutrition sessions and trying to build collective nutritional intelligence. So we are now training our first partner to make the proposal be capable to have scale. And we have some difficult in the communication of what we do, especially in social medias, since we don't know how to start this. Actually, we have an approach, a nutritional approach that's based on design thinking, and we start to see that we are bringing something that is so new to the market that we have difficult to express what we want to do. And so if you could help us a little bit about how we could introduce our solution, not at first, as we don't have a prototype to reach a lot of people, but to try to sensibilize to make people. Yes, thank you. How we can start this, because we are promote such a huge change that we have difficult to express that.
Yeah, and I think where you can start today, and I'm putting you on the spot, is Francesca, give me your 30-second pitch on like what transformation does your product or service do in the market?
Well, Nutrition Think is a nutritional approach that make a deeply change in the way that people think about nutrition. And through our approach, we can co-create more sustainable and authentic diets based on design thinking. So what the transformation that we made actually is a change life. We can change people's lives through nutrition, and through that change cause a positive impact. I don't know.
No, it's good. So let's stay on that for a second. I got 5 more minutes, guys. Is that okay? Cool. So based on what you just said, why do people need to care about nutrition?
Actually, we start to think and we start to see that nutrition as food isn't only a physiological need. We are now seeing people want more about their own nutrition. They are looking for something that is related to STEAM as a superior need. And so people want to be part of the construct of the best diet for them. And now the way nutrition do things, and we start to use this on the pitches, is like you are Carlitos in modern times. Is a lot of rules and someone that know more than you and feels that understand you more than yourself. So we start to see that when we put people and professionals together, working together, we create more meaningful experiences, and so that the diets that I create are more sustainable in the long term. will improve engagement.
Right. So there's an exercise called the 5 why. Have you done that before?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I feel like if you need to do that again, but not by yourself. You need to do it with Raquel, or I'm happy to jump in, or Marcelo. But the first 3 answers I got from you are still very high level about what you do. The point of the 5 whys is get to a point where you really understand why the customer must care. So if I kept pushing you, we don't have the time today, but like, why do I care about nutrition? Why do I care about getting support? Why do I feel like a healthy living is important? Why? You'll get to that very simple opinion, okay? Because nutrition is like telling people to stop smoking.
Yes.
Because
And
smokers, the people that smoke forever, never have any issues. So they're like, look, I'm healthy. I smoke 2 packs a day. Nothing happens to me. I'm not gonna listen to you, right? And then the person that smokes for like 1 summer on holiday gets cancer for some reason. And it's like, shit. So nutrition and health, it's you gotta get to that customer standpoint, because when you keep telling them what's good from your perspective, we don't listen. You gotta get my perspective and tell it back to me. And the 5 whys, maybe you have to do it 3-4 times, but you can't do it yourself because your answers are always going to be what you want to hear. You need somebody else to go, I don't understand. Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why. And then you might hit a nugget like nutritional something gives me the chance to see my grandkids in 50 years. Oh shit. So if you want to see grandkids in 50 years, you do this. Okay, you have a starting point as a conversation. I know I'm compressing a big exercise into like 2 minutes of feedback, but I've been in this category in vitamins and nutrition and health and wellness. And a lot of times the struggle is we tell the customer our educated viewpoint, but the customer is your lifetime smoker. They're good, man. I have no issues. I smoke twice a day, and you telling me I'm gonna have a heart issue? I don't think so.
And you know that this exercise is something that I do all day in my office. And for me, it's very easy to understand why someone came to me. But when I'm talking, and even we have create our persona and everything, to speak to someone that I'm not seeing, I have more difficult because as most I understand people needs, because I have been done this for like more than 10 years. And I saw the need, the importance of the experiences to the change. And so this is our difficult as, okay, what we have to explain to people. But I'm gonna do the why exercise. Sorry. I'm gonna do this why exercise more and more times and ask to other people to do that for us too.
Yeah, and you don't even do yourself. Pick 5 people in today's meeting, book 5 different meetings. Whoever's gonna do the exercise with Francesca, don't let her off the hook. Keep asking why. She's gonna get frustrated. She's gonna get angry at you. She's not gonna be your friend after this. She's gonna unfollow you on Instagram. That's okay. Just do the 5 why, and if you do it with 3 or 4 different people, you'll start to see a pattern. And one last point, like you guys already know this, 99% of sales is an emotional decision that you rationalize later, right? Especially as in your category, I need to emotionally buy in and then rationalize why I need to believe in you. Unlike Helena, for example, rational has to work first and then emotion catches up. So I'm happy to be like one of the people that I can help you out and listen if you want, but you can't do it yourself because you're in a rational mindset. It makes sense for you. It's so obvious. Why wouldn't you do this? But you're not selling to yourself. So you need 5 other people.
Thank you so much. And Raquel, thank you so much for calling me.
Yeah, Yes, I need to push you because
Yes.
sometimes we are shy, but it's a great opportunity to challenge ourselves and try. And you would receive a great feedback as you received. So I know that Satish has like these inputs that help us a lot. Satish, we are almost on time. I don't know if someone would like to ask the last question. Otherwise, I would like you to do your conclusion, your final speech. What would you like to advise the group?
Be brave and conquer the world. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, it's you know, anybody that's starting this journey of building your own company, two things are true. One, it's very difficult, and so be ready mentally, emotionally that this is the journey. Two, you can't do it alone. So get past this notion of I'm doing it on my own. I've never done anything successful on my own, ever. And so the sooner you can reach out and ask for help, don't be afraid. And I don't know, obrigado.
Thank you so much, Satish. And this is something very important from Canada. When we ask for 15 minutes advice, we receive this advice, Francisco. So we don't have to be afraid to ask for advices and ask for a 15-minute talk, just to pitch and ask for help. So I think that's really valuable what Satish is saying, that we have to ask questions, we have to pitch our business, and this is really important. I remember when I arrived in Canada, I was learning about the country, and Satish was always guiding, asking questions. What are you looking for? How can I help you in that? And we were like looking for the right path, because you receive a lot of actually advices. Some fits in your business, sometimes they don't, and that's okay. At least you are asking and listen to the other ones, and then you pick to yourself what you believe is right for you.
100%. And that's why I said, like, it's a hard journey. There's no magic pill, but you need enough people to give you some input, and then you make the right decision. And then, you know, the greatest thing about being humans is we make another decision. You know, I always say, like, a tree can't be anything but a tree. A dog can't be anything but a dog. I've been an entrepreneur, musician, keynote speaker, DJ, a husband, dad, investor. You could do whatever you want if you dream about it. And so, you know, make a decision, and if it's not the right one, you make another one, and then you keep going. You know, so I wish you guys all amazing luck, and hopefully I get to see some of you either in Canada or Spain or Brazil. I definitely, hopefully, we'll plan to come back and hang out with you guys. But, you know, follow me on LinkedIn, reach out, ask questions. Raquel's got my contact info. I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you very much. And I want to invite you now live here to be part of our pitch competition. We are going to have in November a pitch competition with the finalists. It's going to be in English. And then you will be able to learn more about their business if you can join us. It will be really great for us.
It'll be my pleasure. It'll be my pleasure. Let's do it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, Satish. Marcelo,
okay, guys.
It's with you right now.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Satish. It's great to see your enthusiasm on your presentation. I guess it transcends screens, and everyone in their home could feel it. So it was really amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you, Raquel, for helping put this event together. It was great. Thank you everyone who participated, who asked questions. And that's it for today. We're gonna see you guys on Thursday, same time, right? 5 p.m. Brazil. Bye bye, Satish. Então, agora que o Satish saiu, a gente pode falar em português de novo. Então, gente.
Sim, com certeza.
Muito obrigado pela participação de todos, tá bom? Foi excelente o encontro. A gente se vê novamente como eu falei, na quinta-feira, 5 horas. Na semana que vem, a gente tem de novo encontro terça e quinta. Se eu não me engano, da quinta-feira é às 9 da manhã.
Isso, tem um dos painéis, não é às 5 horas, em função da agenda do palestrante. E então é mais cedo, é às 9, né? Luiz, tu tá aqui com a gente, né? Acho que o Luiz tá aqui.
Sim, tá confirmado. 9 da manhã no dia 15, né?
Isso mesmo. Esse
Isso aí.
é o horário diferente. A gente vai ter, na verdade, a gente tem apresentação de histórias de sucesso, cases de sucesso. A gente vai ouvir sobre cross-cultural, né? A gente vai ter um painel sobre negócios que queiram imigrar para o Canadá, e aí tem um especialista com foco em imigração empresarial, falando um pouco sobre os pré-requisitos, as necessidades para levar o negócio, incorporar o negócio em outro país. É interessante porque é uma empresa fundada por imigrantes no Canadá, eles têm mais de 7 países só entre os funcionários da empresa, os especialistas, e uma das especialistas é uma advogada brasileira, então ela faz essa costura da realidade Brasil com Canadá. E nós convidamos também para esse painel um escritório especializado em startups que querem ir para o Canadá, que faz todo o processo de incorporação e de facilidade para realmente iniciar a atração no outro país, né? E fala um pouco também das diferenças, né, de incorporação quando a gente está falando do Canadá em relação ao Brasil. A Tassiri Gosner, ela é brasileira, advogada brasileira, mas hoje trabalha com direito internacional e especialmente com startups. Então, vai ser um painel para a gente falar um pouco desse processo de desburocratizar, de incorporar negócio, de migrar, dos processos de startup visa. Esse é um dos painéis. E além disso, a gente vai falar, então, né, com um unicórnio, desafios incríveis. Não sei se tu quer detalhar um pouquinho, Luiz, aproveitar que está aqui com a gente.
Isso. Então, esse painel que a Raquel está falando acontece na terça que vem. Nessa quinta, agora, a gente tem um encontro com a Leslie Virak, que é uma consultora especialista nessa questão de cross-cultural, né? Impacto cross-cultural, intercultural em negócios, que às vezes o impacto às vezes é muito mais no empreendedor e na pessoa em si, e também de como fazer negócio, a gente vai falar outro dia, mas é como que você se vê dentro desse ambiente intercultural, e vai ser um papo bem interessante com ela. Na sequência, no mesmo dia, nessa quinta agora, a gente tem um chat com o Fernando Muniz. Ele é um empreendedor aqui em Waterloo, ele tem uma empresa de realidade virtual, ele vai contar um pouquinho da história dele, vai trazer um pouco da parte dura da história, que às vezes a gente bota muita purpurina, né, no ser empreendedor. Ele vai trazer um pouco mais o lado mais, assim, das barreiras, do que você vai enfrentar quando você sai da sua zona de conforto no seu país, no seu ambiente, e também dos desafios que ele encontrou, isso tudo na quinta. E na semana que vem, então, no dia 13, tem esse painel que a Raquel comentou, e no dia 15 a gente vai falar com o Marcelo Cortez, que é um brasileiro, mas que veio para o Canadá para estudar, foi ficando, e ele tem uma história bem interessante, que ele teve que voltar para o Brasil, porque ele perdeu o visto, voltou para o Brasil, refez a história dele, voltou para o Canadá. Ele tem uma família aqui no Canadá e tal, e depois ele vai contar um pouquinho das diferentes tentativas de empreendedorismo que ele teve até o sucesso que eles estão tendo agora com a FAIR, que já recebeu investimentos no volume de 7 bilhões, então a gente está comentando que é o 7 vezes unicórnio. Então vai ser bem interessante o papo com ele. Ele é uma pessoa super aberta também. É importante vocês trazerem as perguntas sobre um pouquinho o que vocês gostariam de saber sobre como incorporar, ou até como ter sucesso com uma empresa que é definitivamente global. Eles cresceram muito rapidamente também. Então vai ser bem interessante o papo na quinta que vem. Só que, lembrando, então, na quinta, esse papo, no dia 15, é às 9 da manhã, né, Marcelo?
É isso aí, 9 da manhã, então, gente, tá? O link ali acredito que é o mesmo. E é isso aí, então. Acho que é isso aí.
Obrigada, Marcelo. Espero que o senhor tenha gostado. O Satish, ele é muito acessível, então se vocês quiserem acessar ele pelo LinkedIn, pedir uns minutinhos para conversar com ele, fazer o pitch de vocês, assim como a Francisca corajosamente fez, é uma oportunidade, porque ele puxa, né? Ele traz questionamentos que fazem a gente também evoluir.
Foi muito legal, gente. É isso aí. E essas horas é isso aí, botar a cara a tapa e falar e pegar feedback, e é isso aí.
É isso aí, eu acho que a gente tem que experimentar, é a forma de vocês terem visibilidade também. Ele é um possível investidor, ele já fez, como ele disse, investimentos no Brasil, ele está de olho no Brasil, então é um potencial aí para o Pitch Competition, vocês saírem de lá ainda com um potencial investidor. Ele com certeza é um dos potenciais.
Show de bola então, gente. Quinta-feira a gente se vê. Obrigado, Raquel, obrigado, Luiz, obrigado a todo mundo que participou. E até quinta. Tchau, tchau.
Então, pessoal, até mais.